Hey guys, so last time we watched a video, we learned how to solve equations. This time we're going to learn how to use equations to solve word problems. So our learning target is that we can build equations and use them to solve word problems. Pretty self-explanatory. So the basic steps of solving word problems is first we're going to identify variables, then we will write the equations, and then we will solve them. So let's just go ahead and start with an example. So let's read the problem first. The product of 7 and a number increased by 3 is equal to twice the number subtracted from 39. Find that number. So the first thing I want you to do is go through the problem and point out anything that is represented that we're going to represent with a variable. So we have the product of 7 and a number, we don't know what number, increased by 3 is equal to twice that same number subtracted from 39. Find that number. So we only have one variable in here. So we're going to say let x equal the number. Okay, and you have to do this step. You have to identify your variables. Then we're going to write our equation, and I'm going to spread this out really far because it's not necessarily in order. Okay, so we have the product of 7 and a number. A product is multiplication. So we know we have 7 times x, and then that product increased by 3. So increased means we added 2. So 7x plus 3 is equal to twice the number, so 2 times x, subtracted from 39. So that means 39 minus this number. So we actually have to scoot that down and say 39 minus 2x. Okay, so now we have an equation we can kind of work with. So let's do 7x plus 3 equals 39 minus 2x. And we want to get our variables on one side. That's going to give us 9x plus 3 equals 39. And then subtract 3, and we'll get 9x equals 36. Divide both sides by 9, and we get x is equal to 4. So that's our answer for number 1. Let's take a look at number 3. So I'm going to identify variables as we go. So one number, we don't know what this number is 9 more than twice another number. So I'm going to use a different color and underline another number. If the sum of the numbers, so that's the same numbers, it's not a new one, is 129, find both numbers. So let's we'll say let x equal one number and let y equal another number. Our problem says one number, that means x, is in a word problem always means equals. So is 9 more than, so something plus 9, because it's 9 more than something, twice another number. So 2 times the another number is y. Then it says if the sum of the numbers is 129, find both numbers. So we know that x plus y is going to equal 129. So what I'm going to do, we have 2 equations here, and these are going to help us solve for our variables. This equation tells us what x is equal to in terms of y. So if we substitute 2y plus 9 in for x in this equation, that gives us this equation in terms of only y, and then we can solve it. So I'm going to put 2y plus 9 in where x was, and then we have plus y equals 129. And then we're going to combine like terms, so we get 3y plus 9 equals 129. Subtract 9 from both sides. 3y equals 120. Divide by 3, and y equals 40. But we're not done because it asked us to find both numbers. So if y equals 40, we can plug that into either one of these equations and solve for x. I'm going to choose this one. So we know that x equals 2 times y, and y was 40, plus 9. So x equals 80 plus 9. X equals 89. So you need both pieces to get your answer. Okay, number 5. The length of a rectangle is 1 more than 4 times its width. If the perimeter of the rectangle is 62 meters, find the dimensions of the rectangle. So it wants us to find length and width. So length and width are going to be our variables. So let length equal L. Let width equal W. And what we know is that the length is, meaning equals, 1 more than, so something plus 1, 4 times its width, 4W. And then we also know that the perimeter is 62 meters. So something we want to think about is that the perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Or you could see this as L plus W plus W. It's the same thing, okay? So we're going to use this formula to write a second formula or a second equation that uses our variables. It tells us that the perimeter is 62. So we know that 2L plus 2W has to equal 62. So once again, we have something that L equals. So we can put that in for L in this equation, and that will let us solve for W. So we have 2 times 4W plus 1 plus 2W equals 62. So we're going to distribute, and we get 8W plus 2 plus 2W equals 62. Then we'll get 10W plus 2 equals 62. Subtract 2 from both sides. 10W equals 60, and W will equal 6 after we divide both sides by 10. But we have to find the length of both sides. We need to find the dimensions of the rectangle. So we found W. We can use this formula again to find L, find the length. So we know that L equals 4W plus 1. So that means that L equals 4 times 6 plus 1. L equals 24 plus 1. And so L equals 25. So the dimensions of our rectangle is 6 by 25. Okay, number 7. The measure of one angle is 6 more than half the measure of another angle. If the angles are complementary, find both measures. So we have the measure of one angle, so we need to let one angle equal X. And then we have another angle. So let another angle equal Y. And we know that the measure of one angle, so that's X, means equals 6 more than, so something plus 6, half the measure of another angle. So that means 1/2 times Y. We also know that the two angles are complementary. That means that X plus Y has to equal 180 degrees. Okay, guys, I was actually wrong. Complementary angles add up to 90 degrees, not 180. So X plus Y has to equal 90. So let's look at what we've got here. We know that this is what X equals, so we can plug all of that in for X in our equation. So we have 1/2 y plus 6 plus y equals 90. So 1/2 y plus y is 3/2 y plus 6 equals 90. Subtract 6 from both sides. That will give us 3/2 y equals 84. And when you have a fraction like this, what we can do is multiply both sides by 2 first. That gets rid of that. Oh, it does not get rid of that over there. And that'll give us 3y equals 168. And then divide both sides by 3, and we get y is equal to 56 degrees. All right, so we've solved for one angle, but it wants us to find both. So now that we have y, we can plug that into our equation for x. We know that x equals 1/2 y plus 6. So x equals 1/2 times 56 plus 6. Half of 56 is 28 plus 6, and so x equals 34 degrees. Okay, 2 more examples. Number 9. The measure of the vertex angle in an isosceles triangle is 6 less than 4 times the measure of a base angle. Find the measure of the vertex angle. Okay, so let's remember that an isosceles triangle actually looks like these triangles in the background of my slide. I wish I did that on purpose, but I didn't. And so these two angles are the same size, and this one is different. So this tells us that the measure of the vertex angle, that's this angle up here, we're going to call it x, in an isosceles triangle is 6 less than 4 times the measure of a base angle. So we're going to call our base angles y. We want to find the measure of the vertex angle, so we only need to solve for x. Now, we might have to solve for both to get there, but we only have to, x is the only one that we need for our answer. Okay, so the measure of the vertex angle, so that's x, means equals 6 less than, so something minus 6, 4 times the measure of the base angle, so 4 times y. Now it says to find the measure of the vertex angle. Well, right now we don't have enough information, but something that we know about triangles is that all 3 angles have to add up to 180 degrees. So we know that x plus y plus another y, all 3 angles, because the base angles are the same, they're equal to each other, has to equal 180 degrees. So I'm going to simplify this to say x plus 2y equals 180. Okay? So now we have 2 equations that we can use to solve. So let's plug this in for x. So we have 4y minus 6 plus 2y equals 180. Combine like terms, we get 6y minus 6 equals 180. Add 6 to both sides, and we will get 6y equals 186. And then divide both sides by 6 to get y equals 31. And remember, this is in degrees. And now all we have to do is plug this 31 in to this equation, and that will give us x. So we know that x equals 4y minus 6. So we now know that y equals 31. Oops. So 4 times 31 is 124 minus 6. X is going to equal 118 degrees. And for our final example, number 11, the sum of 3 consecutive odd integers is 93. Find those integers. So what we're going to do with this one is a little bit different. So we know we have 3 numbers we need to find. Let's call the first one x. Let x be the first integer. So if x is the first integer, and they have to be consecutive odd integers, so that means that they have to be odd numbers and they have to be in order. They can't be out of order. Then whatever x is, the next number has to be x plus 2. Okay, so if the first number were 3, the next number would have to be 5. You don't have a choice. It has to be the next odd integer. So we're going to let x plus 2 be the second integer. And then finally, x plus 4 will be the third integer. And the sum of all of these has to be 93. So x plus 2 plus x plus 4 equals 93. So we're going to combine like terms, and we get 3x plus 6 equals 93. Subtract 6 from both sides, and we will get 3x equals 87. Yeah. Divide both sides by 3, and we are going to get that x equals 29. Now, that's not our final answer, okay? We need to find all 3 integers. So if the first one is x, then that means it's 29. The next one is x plus 2, so that'll be 31, and the next one is x plus 4. That gives us 33. So these are our 3 integers. All right, let me know if you have any trouble with any of these. Thanks so much for being here.